Good morning, honourable members, honourable share of shares, and honourable MSc, the department. Eh? Oh, is it on now? Good morning, honourable members, share of shares, honourable MSc, honourable HOD, and the department. Chairperson, the coordinator, and the cluster manager, our staff, good morning. I think let us start our meeting now. And I don't think we will have that long meeting. After we finish with the department, then we'll have our own short meeting just to in committee. I think let them get apologies if there is any. There's an apology of Honorable Bampakash, who is at a clash with the other committee, but Honorable Mapisa is here. He's representing Honorable Bampakash. Honorable Mapisa, you are welcome. And there's also a apology of Honorable Kakul, who was also in another committee, but Honorable Brath. What? It's very difficult to pronounce his surname. Yeah, he's representing the honorable member, but he will join us on visually. And also Honorable Moloi, she's on her way. Is coming here, but for now she's on virtually. And I think that was. Let me check with you. Do we have do we correct? There's a comment. Do we have enough numbers?
Morning, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members and Honorable MEC and our colleagues from the department and also from the legislature. Honorable Chairperson, there are 8 members present physically here, and there are 2 on the visual meeting, which means therefore, because our committee constituted by 11, our meeting is properly constituted. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. So the meeting is coordinating. All members, there, this agenda in front of us is opening, apologies, condition of the meeting, adoption of the agenda, which we need to adopt. And then there'll be remarks from the MEC department reports, APP budget and discussion. And then we'll go for voting after that. Can I get any mover for adoption of this agenda? Then, yeah. Honorable yes. I nearly call you Kakul.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to yourself, to the MEC, to the HOD and all the staff, as well as fellow colleagues here. I move to adopt this agenda.
Honorable Mapisa.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning to your good self, the MEC and his team, the honorable members. I support the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you very much. The agenda has been adopted. Then let us go to item number 5. This is remarks by the MSc. Honorable MSc.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, honourable members, officials from the department, officials from the legislature. It's as always an honour to appear before you, because this is when we see how government functions in the oversight role, which is a very important role of the legislature, and always humbles us and the executive. Chairperson, I'm not going to keep you long because I know what the main focus here is the budget, and it's quite a lot of information, and I'd rather leave that to the experts to discuss with you. Let me just quickly touch on a few things, Chairperson. First of all, as I said to the Finance Committee last week when I joined virtually, that we have very little room to maneuver with the budget as the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, because unlike other departments, we have very set expenditures. Like rates that has to be paid, and those type of things. So with the money we get as it comes in, we already actually know what we have to spend it on. So unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to make big changes to the budget, it is in the current climate not possible for us. The second thing to also just always keep in mind is that in the current funding model, and one day I think we should discuss whether the funding model is correct or not. But in the current funding model, we don't control the infrastructure budget. That's done by the client departments, not by us. So the infrastructure budget for clinics will go to health, and they will then instruct us on work to do and pay us. So we don't actually control that budget. So our budget looks very small, yet we control a large budget in the sense that we have to control the leases and the construction budgets and all of those things for other departments. Just on a different note, just to keep the committee up to date on what's happening, Chairperson, the disciplinary hearing of the HOD, Mr. Majola, is still ongoing. They are literally ongoing. I mean, they're sitting. They are having, I think, 3 times a week almost. The sitting is happening. So obviously we have no control over how long that will take. That is in the hands of the chairperson. Number of witnesses called, how long these witnesses take to to testify, and all of that. But that we will keep the committee up to date on the progress on that matter and whatever the outcome of that matter is. And there is a report in here on the current situation with vacancies and disciplinaries and things like that in the department. But overall, Chairperson, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure has stabilized. We have no serious matters regarding staffing at the moment, or disciplinaries or anything like that. Things are very stable within the department. We have stabilized our finances mostly, with 1 or 2 hiccups. And that it remains a frustration. And Chairperson, I would really like to ask you if at some stage we could have a joint sitting of your committee and the Education Committee to discuss our concerns and the Education Department's concerns. Because we are really sitting with our hands in our hair, and we do need the assistance of the legislator playing your vital oversight role as well to try and find solutions for what is nothing less than a crisis currently. With the monies owed to us and then monies we owe to contractors, which is an unacceptable situation to those contractors, of course. So, Chairperson, I know it's not within my role to tell the committee what to do, but I do request kindly that the committee consider a joint committee meeting so that we can present all the facts and Education can present all the facts and we find solutions together. Because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We want to find solutions that better serve the people of KwaZulu-Natal. On big projects that's coming to a close, very soon, Chairperson, we'll be able to hand over our big cultural site at Nongoma, which I know you visited. We're getting weekly updates now with photos. The roof is progressing extremely fast. I'm very excited for that handover. And then we all get to meet Minister Gayton McKenzie as we have to hand over to him. It's his department's project, so I'm sure he will make a big show of it, knowing Minister McKenzie as we do. But we are very excited that that project is now fast moving to closure and that we will keep the committee up to date on that one as well. And thank you for your support in visiting that site going forward. With that, as I said, I would rather us focus on the budget today, Chairperson. So with that, I'll hand over back to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Honourable MSc, for the remarks and also keep us updated. Updating us about the issues that you have. We appreciate that. I think let us go straight to the business of the day, where we'll spend most of our time there, which is item number 6, which is the. Members, we got this report. It is sent to you. Reports APP to 2025-26 APP budgets. I'll hand over to you HOD. Then we'll tell us which reports and who's going to present, or is it yourself? It's fine. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Greetings to the honorable members. Greetings to the MEC, the Honorable MEC. Greetings to the legislative staff. Greetings to the esteemed team that I lead, and all others that are present, all protocol observed. Chairperson, let me first start off by echoing the sentiment shared by the Honorable MEC, that indeed it's a privilege for Public Works and an honor to appear before this committee. And I think I cannot overstress the point that he raised with regards to the committee's role in terms of oversight. The presentation, Chairperson, Honorable Chair, will be covered by myself. My team will assist wherever I do not cover the point in full. And I will be as prompt as possible, and I will ensure that we provide an honest representation of Vote 14 as presented at the Finance Committee. The scope of the presentation, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, it's 6 items that I will speak upon. As mentioned, Chair, I will be covering the department's mandate, including of that would be the vision and the mission. I'd also be covering the alignment of Vote 14 with national and provincial priorities. I would be listing within that the key cost drivers that I'm sure that each of the honorable members will be keen to have a look at and zoom in. Thirdly, I will cover the APP in detail per program. Fourthly, the spending pressures that we face as the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure for the province of KZN. Fifthly, the turnaround plan that we added, Honorable Chair, to indicate to this committee that we do have a plan with regards to how we're going to deliver on our 5 key mandates within the 25-26 financial year that has kicked off today, being the 1st of April. Lastly, Chairperson, the recommendations to this committee to note same and to take it forward in approving Vote 14. Chair, I would then refer us to slide 1. If someone was assisting with the presentation, can move to slide 1, the department's mandate. We have 5 mandates, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members. The first being that we are the custodian of provincial immovable assets. We're also responsible for construction and maintenance of all government buildings. We're also responsible for the provision of office accommodation on behalf of provincial government. We are responsible for the provincial expanded public works program and coordination, and lastly for the coordination of catalytic projects within the province of KZN. Within the 7th administration, under the stewardship of Honorable MEC, together with the esteemed bunch of EXCO members that I lead and the team at Public Works, we re-looked at our vision and mission. And I want to take this committee and place on record with specific reference to our mission. We are committed, Chair, to delivering and managing high-quality infrastructure, maximizing the utilization of government property, and spearheading efforts to maintain an environmentally sustainable and integrated public infrastructure system that meets the needs of the people of KZN. With that said, Chair, I would like us to look at slide 3, 4, and 5. I take it as it being read. It's quite in depth to indicate to this august House of how we align the Vote 14, 25, 26 with the NDP, with the statement of intent, with the GNU minimum programs and the medium-term development plan. With that said, Chair, we can then zoom into slide 6, which is probably the most important slide in indicating to this committee and yourself, Honorable Chair, of the department's outcomes in respect of Vote 14. Now, this also has underwent a stringent process whereby we've had 2 strategic workshops, one whilst the Honorable MEC and myself was abroad, and once whilst we are down, and thereafter 3 or 4 EXCO meetings to get where we are. The first outcome is that of increased employment and work opportunities, and the links to that is on column 2, which is the National Development Plan, Vision 2030, Chapter 3, Economy and Employment, MTDP, Strategic Priority 1, Drive Inclusive Growth and Job Creation, and lastly, the PGDS, which is the Provincial Growth and Development Strategy 2024 Priority 1, Inclusive of Growth and Job Creation. I won't list the next links, but it all follows in suit, and it indicates where exactly we've linked the Vote 14 with the MTDP, the PGDS, and the National Development Plan. The second being that of productive assets, and in that we're looking at the maintenance of facilities and the productive use at facilities, and it cannot be overemphasized. The Honorable MEC as well at Len covered it at Bill KZN that government is sitting with an asset base of over 10,300 assets, and it's time that we reprioritize that so that KZN together with Public Works can work for the people that we serve. Chair, the second last is that of the increased infrastructure investment, access and efficiency. And here we're looking at infrastructure investment, delivery and maintenance of public assets and infrastructure. Again, it cannot be overemphasized. It's clear as daylight in respect of what we need to do in order to turn the province around in respect of infrastructure delivery and where we see ourselves. Hence, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, I paused and I stressed the point of what our new mission as Public Works is, and we're hoping that post this financial year you'll be able to measure us against same. Lastly, Chair, it's something that we're very passionate about, and you'll note in the recent media reports that we've established an ethics and governance desk, but more so we're taking it a further a step of saying that we need to build an ethical, capable and professional public service, but it all starts with us. It starts with myself together with the MEC, and hence the establishment of such a desk, that the only department in the province to establish them to give effect to ethical and good governance practices within the Department of Public Works. We now get into the meat of what the presentation will entail in terms of vote 14. And I just want to say, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, we've decided that it is in our best interest to take this committee into confidence and produce factual information as listed in Program 1, 2, and 3, because Public Works has 3 programs, and indicate to the honourable members, together with yourself, Chairperson, where we have spending pressures and where we find that we will have issues as we progress if we do not mitigate those risks that has already been identified from the first day that the Honourable MEC walked into the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, KZN. The first program, Honourable Chair, is that of administration, which conforms fully with 3 sub-programs, namely the Office of the MEC, the Management of the Department, and the Corporate Support. The second program, 2, being Public Works Infrastructure, which conforms with 2 sub-programs, namely immovable asset management, that deals with anything pertaining to the asset register, the provision of office accommodation, acquisitions, disposals, valuations, and the many other duties that fall under same. And lastly, the construction part of it, which deals purely with maintenance and construction of new infrastructure projects. Lastly, and one of the most important deliverables that Public Works has to deliver on is that of the expanded Public Works program, and it conforms with 2 sub-programs, namely program support and community development. Chairperson, Table 2.1 and 2.2 provides a summary of the vote payments and budgeted estimates over the 7-year period by program, economic classification, and respectively. So I would like to take this House to on page 7 to column 3. If I had a pointer, I would have pointed you, but it's column 3 on the screen and on your presentation that reads as follows: medium-term estimates. It has 25-26, 26-27, 27-28. As mentioned previously, Chair, we did also provide you with a 7-year period to indicate Public Works where it's come from 2021 to the point of where we are in 2025 and to the point of 2027, 2028, which covers the medium-term expenditure framework and which gives this committee a holistic view of what has been the finances. I would then, Chairperson, like to take you through the column 3, under 25-26, the amounts that I would be reading out under administration, 467,650,000. Under Public Works and Infrastructure, which is Program 2, 1522832. Under Expanded Public Works, 47,008, which gives you 2.37490 billion. That, Chairperson, to the column 2, when you cross-reference both, you will see that already myself and the Honourable MEC, together with the esteemed team that I lead, is sitting with a shortfall from last year to this year of 117,541. That's 117,541,000, excluding the line items or the vote classification in respect of property rates, which sits under budgeted close to 600 million. We also felt it's important, Chairperson, to take this committee through the overview of the property rates pressures that we face, and we want to thank the Honourable MEC of Finance, together with the HOD of Finance, for relentlessly standing side by side with us in the fight to get an appropriate budget in respect of what needs to be paid out and what actually comes into the bank account of Public Works. For the 25-26 financial year, we want to thank yourselves as well as the Portfolio Committee for allowing Public Works to get a specially appropriated budget of 168,780 million, as much as what it's not nowhere near what we should be getting, but it's definitely we're definitely in the right part, and we definitely will get there if we continue to ensure that we receive adequate budget. The 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29, Chair, I'm not going to go through it because it's baselines, what Treasury has projected over the years. It still needs to be gazetted and it still needs to be approved. But in essence, why we put same through, Chair, is to indicate that within the 27-28 financial year, there is a plan to get the rates budget to be equated to what it should be in respect of an amount of just over 1.7 billion rand for the province of KZN. But let me allay your fears, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, and I said it at the Finance Committee as well, and I'm glad that I say it in the presence of the Honourable MEC. Public Works KZN has realised that this is an issue, it's a spending pressure. We have a plan of action, and I'm going to demonstrate to yourselves how we're going to tackle this rates issue and what systems we put in place even before we get into this financial year, which will ensure that we're able to deliver on our mandate of the payment of property rates to the 53 municipalities that we service within the province of KZN. I then would like to take you all to slide 9, which amplifies exactly what I've said in the previous slide, but gives you a much more detailed breakdown as per current payments, transfers and subsidies, payments of capital assets, and payments of financial assets. I'll then ask the committee to go through the last column again. It reads as follows: medium-term estimates, 25-26, 26-27, 27-28, and I'm more concerned of presenting to yourselves the issues listed under 25-26, being first the budget for the compensation of employees, which covers specifically all personnel costs, which sits at 1050187. The goods and services budget, which sits at 268,543. And then transfers and subsidies, 966,750. Payments of capital assets, 8418. And I'll list what these things do cover in the following slides. And the payment for financial assets, and that gives you a bottom line figure of 2037490. The one thing I need to point out, Honourable Chair, is in terms of compensation of employees, the 781644 and the 268,543, which is our goods and services vote. It's all in millions. You will note in the next slide, slide 10, we presented it schematically just to show yourself, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, as to what is the 25-26 cost drivers and how the Department of Public Works, as mentioned by the MEC and echoed by myself, that our budget doesn't have much longitude and latitude. If I put that in layman's terms, it means that we don't have any space to maneuver in between this budget, because almost peremptory in its application, whereby it's clearly dictated as what Public Works need to do. In terms of compensation of employees, if you look at it, when we do take the specially appropriated budget of the rates amount of just over over a billion rand, one would note that we sit at 38%. Ideally, you should be sitting at between 60 and 65%. We are 38%. In terms of goods and services, we are 13%. That's very nominal, and it's something that it's evident in terms of the financial climate that we face internationally and locally and nationally, and we're glad as well to receive at least 268,543 rand for the provision of goods and services, which I'll indicate what those monies will be used for. In terms of provinces and municipalities, as I said, Honourable Chair, that's a rates budget. It's 48%. It's almost the entire budget. Lastly, households, which is 0.4%, and the payment of capital assets being only 1%. Chairperson, we're then going to go into the crux of today's session in terms of each program, and I'll try to be as brief as possible, but take this meeting and yourself, Honourable Chair, into confidence with respect to what are some of the major drivers within each of the programs. The first program, Chair, being Program 1, the major drivers are as follows: the compensation of employees, including departmental interns and in-service employees; computer services, which is inclusive of CETA operating cost and software licenses; internal and external bursaries that the department has current contracts with those who have afforded bursaries; advertising cost, meaning broadcasting services for the department; audit cost external, meaning the AG; Legal services that every other department would have, like Public Works KZN, training and development for all departmental officials, and the payment of fuel and the maintenance of fleet services. Honorable Chair, then on slide 12, put out same in a very difficult manner, I want to tender an apology through yourself, Chair. It's quite small, but we needed to fit it onto the slide so that one could provide to yourselves that this comes straight from our system at Public Works, and it's not figures that myself and the Honorable MEC, together with the team I lead, that has put forward. Then we could then move to the next slide 13, whereby each of those cost drivers are then broken down into line items, as mentioned in the previous slide, in slide 12, whereby one would then, in slide 11 at least, one would then see, for example, program 1, only the compensation of employees there is 354 million. For the OSS program, which is the Sukuma Sake program, it's 2 million. Advertising then 4.5 million. And as we go along, you'll see each of the items listed with a total bottom line of 467,650. That's all in millions, Chair. Hence the 3 zeros on top. We then said, Chair, it's important that we Honourable Chair, that we take yourself together, the honourable members, into confidence in respect of how then Public Works, under the stewardship of Honourable MEC Martin Meyer, together with myself and the team that's here, unpack this difficult budget in respect of an approved APP for the 25-26 financial year. It's important to note, Chair, that we've gone beyond the call of duty in listing these targets, and we want to also say to yourselves that we want to be held accountable, and we know that we would come to this committee and account for performance, overachieved or underachievement, which I doubt that there will be any underachievements unless there's matters that are beyond our control. The first output, Chairperson, which is linked to the NGTP Priority 3, which is the building of a capable, ethical and developmental state, covers the following outcomes. Effective enterprise risk integrity management within the department. We have an output indicator there of the strategic risk register being approved by 30th April 2025. The next one being the internal audit plan, and then we've listed what are the output indicators. The external audit plan, timeous payments of service providers, which is one item that's causing Public Works not to get a clean audit, because we cannot honor payments within 30 days based on the fact that we struggle to receive adequate payment through our interdepartmental account. It's something that's peremptory. We cannot put it here, hence it's been put. Because these are sector targets that we have to be measured upon. The next one being the effective utilization of the budget within the department, and then the reduction of the vacancy rate, and we've listed them out. Then designated groups in terms of NTDP Priority 3 as well, whereby we need to have a certain percentage, 50% of women within SMS level. Designated groups again, whereby we need to have 2% representation of staff with disabilities. Designated groups again, whereby we need to ensure that 100% of youth are developed. The next important part, Chairperson, is that of the implementation of the procurement plan, which needs to be approved by 31st March. It needs to be approved and submitted to Provincial Treasury by 31st March 2026. The one for the current financial year has been submitted, has been approved as well. We also then need to implement that procurement plan 100%. What that says, Chairperson, is that whatever budgets are set out in the 253 million under the goods and services vote, we need to have a plan of action as to how we're going to spend that over the next 12 months that starts as of today. We've got that plan and it has been approved. Lastly, Chairperson, or not lastly, next output indicator is that of increased economic empowerment through procurement, and the percentage of vote that needs to be spent on that is 30%. It's purely from the legislation and is brought into the APP. And then lastly, which the MEC, together with the team that's our lead here, very passionate about, more so it's spearheaded by the MEC in terms of the digitalization of our business processes, because Public Works have not migrated in the last 2 decades from manual systems to automated systems, which will reduce cost and increase efficiency and add more checks and balances in terms of monitoring and evaluation. That brings the end of Program 1, Chairperson's APP, and you can see at length we've covered it in depth as to how we're going to deliver that program with specific reference to key performance indicators for the 25-26 financial year. The next program being probably our biggest program is that of Program 2, which involves immovable asset management and construction management. And the major cost drivers, like the previous slides as well, are compensation of employees. Here again, property rates. I schematically produce same on slide 10 for ease of reference of the 48% that we're looking at in terms of the total 2.37 billion budget. And then GIAMA conditional assessments, which is conditional grants, which is peremptory in its application. You cannot divert or move left or right in terms of what is provided, and that will cover all your conditional assessments for the 150 buildings that we are going to be assessing. Next being the payment of property payments in respect of cleaning, security, gardening, and municipal services. And lastly, building and other fixed structures, which covers specifically maintenance issues. I then again went about with the same system of producing program 2 as is straight from the system, the financial system at the department. And I would like us to look at the medium-term estimates with specific reference to column 3, which is on the column on my right-hand side of the page, which reads medium-term estimates 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28, which gives you a total bottom line of 1,522,832 rands. I then take it further, Chairperson, again in slide 20, of indicating to yourself and the Honourable Members, Chair, that Program 2's cost drivers is listed in an Excel spreadsheet given to yourselves as well, each of the line items, what are the total amounts, which brings you into the 1522832. And if one looks at it, Chairperson, just to go into the issue around payment of property rates, the 25-26 financial year is sitting with 957,941 plus the 1,268 million gets you over the 1 billion mark. Nowhere near the 1.7 million that we need. But I'm going to produce to this House, with your permission, Honourable Chair, of the plan of action that the Honourable MEC, together with myself and the team that I leave, has devised and will be implementing and have already started implementing, same with serious results that we've achieved thus far, that will enable Public Works KZN to at least close next year's financial year with a very low accrual amount on property rates, if not a zero amount, if this committee supports us during the special appropriation budget time or the adjustment budget time during October, November of this current financial year. I then listed in table 16.1, Chair, as printed from our financial system, the infrastructure payments and the estimates per categories. Let us, Chairperson, look at interesting figures that we will be presenting to yourself. With regards to maintenance and repairs, purely for public works, we sit with 17,531,000 rand. For upgrades and additions, we sit with 360,000, and refurbishment and rehabilitation, we sit at 7,280. The unfortunate part, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, we would like this figure to be 500 million if we could have had it our way. The problem is we have to deal with what we get. And I said it in the Finance Committee, and I want to say it with the humble respect and the greatest care of saying that with 29 million, we're going to get bang for buck. We've been given much in the clarion call by the Honourable MEC. My team and myself have accepted the call, where we're saying that what used to cost Public Works in the past for a replacement of a toilet seat, for example, 500 rand, needs to be re-looked at, and we need to have value for money. We need to conform with Section 217, and we're happy to say to this House that our systems have been strengthened to a point whereby we even now have recorded all procurement meetings, and all bids that go out will conform strictly with 217, will be advertised on the website, newspapers, notice boards, and whatever the legislation says, we will comply thereto. In respect of the infrastructure payments and estimates, Chairperson, we then felt that it's important to tell yourself, the Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, as to the exact account of the maintenance and repair budget, because where will it go? Because obviously we cannot maintain every single building within the province of KZN, and that we as Public Works are custodians of in terms of utilizing same. And we then decided that we need to do maintenance repairs through a maintenance plan and through a conditional assessment. So it's not not thumb-sucked, it's scientific. That being of the eThekwini region, the LA complex, Chairperson, which you yourself and the Honourable Members are fully aware of, the challenges we face there and the neglect of that building since the time of us moving the legislature from Malundi to PMB, and how we have not maintain that building, whereby now myself and the Honorable MEC has to untangle a spider's web, which is almost like eating soup with a fork. Lastly, Chairperson, we're looking at upgrades and additions over the MTF budget, which also caters for the upgrading relating to the damage caused at the Mayville Center during the July 2021 unrest, Chairperson. You must understand, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, that was 2021, we're in 2025, and we're in the 25-26 financial year. It means that whatever we planned in 2021, obviously, it has to have CPIX increases and inflation increases. So we're going to be really trying our best to ensure that we stretch the RAN and we achieve the maintenance on this building. We have no other option, because if we don't, that's one of our that's the heart of our operations, together with 191, and we got to attend to it. Lastly, Chair, the issue around the refurbishment and rehabilitation of capital, which is infrastructure projects over the MTEF and its rehabilitation and refurbishment. Again, we come back to the LA complex with regards to the internal roads, the water supply system, the perimeter fencing, as well as the lecture hall in the eThekwini region, which is used by the Honorable Premier together with yourselves for meetings, which saves this province a lot of money. And when I do present the turnaround plan, you will note that we want to adopt a triple P option for that, so that we can get that facility to the level that it needs to be and limit the spending pressures that are currently on the 253 million that we have for goods and services. Lastly, Chairperson, new infrastructure assets. It caters for the final account for Ilembe District Office, which this team, together with the Honorable MEC, has just opened, and which is adding value to the provision of services as public works. We then, again, Chair, listed the APP as per the MDTP priorities of inclusive growth and job opportunities, and I would list each chair in terms of outcomes. I won't read the output indicators. It's for ease of reference. It's listed same. It's listed in the document. One being the inspections conducted for optimal utilization. Two being inspection conducted for optimal utilization. The effective management of immovable assets. Approved custodian asset management plans. Public Works Chair is responsible for the CMs. And what the CM should be, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, is basically a document that should talk to the slide that I just presented in terms of what is the condition of your assets and what is actually needed to get that asset to a C4, C5 level. You get C1 to C6, C1 to 3 is badly, C1 to 3 is good, C4, 5, 6 is serious challenges that you have in your building. And Public Works finds itself of managing an asset base that's 70% within the C4, C5, C6 range, which is quite a serious situation, because you then find yourself having assets which have lost its value over the years because of lack of maintenance or no maintenance there too. The next being the provision of efficient and effective service facilities for services, and we've listed same. Then the optimize entrepreneurship opportunities, whereby we're looking at the percentage of leases concluded with black landlords. The next being the payment of property rates. The day after, the state-owned buildings would finalize conditional assessments. Disposal of redundant properties for social economic purposes, and we're targeting 10 hectares for same. And lastly, the three issues around sustainable infrastructure delivery, which are sector indicators and which needed to be put in. But you will note, quite concerning on page 28, that we've amended the targets on the APP purely because we can only put what we on the APP what is in respect of approved funding that we get with respect to client departments' fundings, especially that of education, whereby we don't have a signed infrastructure plan with them, and hence we had to adjust these targets downwards. The last program, Chairperson, being Program 3, which is a program that is close to almost every single person's heart in this room. More so, the MEC has given us a clarion call to ensure that for the first time in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we need to ensure that the expanded public works program is free and fair and doesn't have any influence whatsoever from any person within the province of KZN. Chairperson, we then again, in slide 30, put it out in an Excel spreadsheet, and I apologize again for the minute writing because we had to fit it in. But I then decided on slide 31, together with the team, to list the cost drivers within the compensation, within the Program 3 being 23 million for the compensation of employees, The Extended Public Works Program Coordination Program being 6.3 million. The EPWP Maintenance Program being 10.368 million. EPWP Integrated Grant being 5.4 million. Other operational costs, which includes lease of photocopies, stationery costs, and amongst others, 1.692 million, gives you a total amount of 47 million. The unfortunate part, Chair, is that we wish this amount was 100 million or 200 million. It's what the allocation comes and what we have, and we have to deal with it. But if you look at it, year in, year out, this program is led by Mr. Dlamini, who is the Chief Director. We've achieved 100% output, and it's performed extremely well. The problem you have, Honourable Chair, is that National sets the mandates for the MEC and myself and the province of KZN. But unfortunately, when they set those mandates, they don't match it with the approved budget that one should receive. We, however, not doing anything about it. We're in strong discussion with them, and we're trying to see now whether or not we could now include work opportunities for all projects that are under the public works and infrastructure custodianship, whereby even projects that we issue to contractors, whether or not we can add those as real job opportunities that have been created. The unfortunate part is that the legislation does not give us the leeway to include that, but we're saying that these are job opportunities, and they will. We've then listed it, Chair, in slide 32 in respect of what are the outcomes, and we've listed what are the output indicators, and you can see, Chair, that these are bread and butter issues that affect the normal person who's looking at opportunities within the province, and it's an MTDB priority one, and it's something which we take very seriously. You'll see, Chair, under paid work opportunities, that number of work opportunities created with the target sits at 3890, empowerment interventions at 4, in respect of beneficiary empowerment interventions. In respect of the same output under trainings, we're looking at 6 for emerging contractors. And lastly, the number of public bodies reporting on EPWP targets in the province being at 65. We've managed, Chairperson, year in, year out, as mentioned to this committee and yourselves, to achieve 100% output, and we're going to achieve that in this financial year as well. The next slide, Chair, in regards to the assessment of spending pressures and proposed solution. I'm going to end this presentation, Chair, with the next slide and the slide on the turnaround plan. We're talking to yourselves and the honourable members to take you through what are some of the challenges that the Honourable MEC, together with myself as the Acting Accounting Officer and HOD, face on a daily basis within the Department of Public Works, and how we navigate this treacherous terrain or rocky seas in order to deliver services to the people of KZN and be accountable to yourselves. There's huge issues around the audit cost that is billed to this department by the Auditor General. I'm happy to announce today, Chairperson, that the engagement that the MEC and myself has had with the AG, where we're saying to them, from an amount of 12 million, we are looking at bringing the budget down anything between 8 and 12 million to have a savings that can go back into the goods and services vote and be used for things that are bread and butter issues that affect the department. They've responded positively, and they're working on dropping that cost. The next one being property rates. It's important, Chair, for us to say to this committee and yourselves that the issue of property rates within the province of KZN has been a legacy issue. It's never been tackled. Why it's never been tackled, it'll be something that I won't be able to provide an answer to now. But what we've done as people who have gotten into the seat and as people who are driving this ship forward is we've said that properties that have been listed on the municipal valuation rolls need to be interrogated in terms of what are the valuation rolls, what are the amounts. We then said that with one valuer we cannot achieve this year. We went then together with the MEC, approached the MEC of Treasury and the HOD of Treasury and requested them to fund additional valuers so that we can tackle the valuation roles of various municipalities within the province, focusing on first the city of Msunduzi, the city of Newcastle, eThekwini municipality, and the many other smaller municipalities that also have a high rates base with us, whereby we look at what are the rates being charged, what should be the rates, and in order to have approached Treasury with our one valuer, we looked at North Coast and we brought in a savings of 55 million. If we had to equate that across the 52 municipalities, we would probably half the rates value. We then said that we need to raise this matter of inadequate budget together with the National Department of Public Works, together with National Treasury, Provincial Treasury, and all other 9 provinces. We are spearheading that in nationally now in terms of saying that property rates and the payment thereto, it's legislative, it's scientific, it's a straight line. You can only pay what you have. Unfortunately, as a former city manager, it's difficult when the shoe is on the other side of the foot that you go to municipal managers and you say, listen, afford us a 50% discount. Because what you're actually doing is if they had to give you that discount and you realize it, it would cripple them because they budget for that and equitable share doesn't cover the issues that property rates would cover. But that's not all doom and gloom. We're saying to them, throughout the years that Public Works has been in existence, it has always paid property rates in advance. We're saying, no, you're not going to use us as your bank account. We're going to aggregate that over a 12-month period. But should you say that you want to come to the table and discuss it with us, affect us a 50%, if not less discount, we can meet you halfway and reduce that rate. But if tomorrow all municipalities issue that 50% discount, your 954 million will have a savings. We as Public Works will be on par. We'll be able to pay rates. We'll be able to think. Nothing within the issue of non-payment of rates is poor performance from the team and myself together with the Honorable MEC. We then said further, which we want this committee to support us, Honorable Chair, with your leadership as well, and the leadership of the Honorable members, that KZN has got an asset base of 22.5 billion. But KZN has got assets that myself, as Dr. Vish, would sit on for year in, year out without a plan and without funding. But you're paying property rates on that. We're saying that we need to release that. And Bill KZN came out strongly, leaders in the industry, together with ourselves, to say that, and MEC coined it in a nice saying, what doesn't work for Public Works and the people of KZN, what doesn't work for Public Works and the provincial government of KZN needs to work for the people of KZN, meaning we need to contribute to the social economic development. How do we do that? We utilize the property industry to revolutionize and get the issues around unemployment, social economic transformation, all that sorted out. We're happy to note that Bill KZN then we've identified 98 provincial properties, 27 vacant land that needs to be going out on bid, and that there's different processes that where we will tackle the issues around transformation. One of the issues that was raised by Honorable Dirks at the Finance Committee was that how is Public Works going to tackle the issue around transformation? The properties that we pick up will target different designated groups that is listed in the Act, and how best we're going to meet them. Because banks don't want to fund people who are not financially secure. And we don't, MEC's clarion call to us is, do not make the rich richer. Let's get an even balance around. Lastly, Chair, we've said in terms of safety and security, you can't have 100 guards on, for example, on the LA building. Those things we must account to this committee that it's abuse of state funds. We're saying that all now bids that go out in terms of safeguarding and cleaning of properties needs to be run for run. We need to give bang for buck. You can't just award a tender because it's your friend's company or whatever. You need to award a tender because it's on a needs basis, and everything that you do must be strictly in line with the PFMA. Why it was done previously, Chair, it's a travesty of justice. The next thing around the maintenance thing of buildings, Chair, and EPWP and insufficient budget, we had to take a painful decision, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, of seizing all the filling of vacancies, whereby had we continued, we would have been overspent on the budget by 22.5 million. The unfortunate part of that came into effect when National Treasury issued a notice last minute to say that the funding of the wage increase will have to be funded internally. That put us on a tangent. But what we did, we said, no, we will put on hold on vacancies, but we'll make sure that we do not have unauthorized expenditure and we get this horse across the line where we deliver what we need to deliver as a department. Hence, I started off in the inception of my presentation saying to you yourself, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, that the latitude and longitude for the budget, and the MEC said it quite well, and I'm echoing it again, it's nominal. It's probably a point so many percent thing, which is not even a point thing, it's negligible. The turnaround plan, Chair, I covered it at length, but I want to take this committee and yourselves in confidence, Chair. As I appear here, it's an honor, and it's my first time appearing and presenting Vote 14 with the presence of the Honourable MEC. It's tough. It's a tall order to climb. We have the right formula. We have the right team. What we need now is that we need the legislature together with cabinet to take decisions that will be in the benefit of all of us, including the people of KZN. One of the biggest decisions we must take, Honorable Chair, is the decision around the payment of interdepartmental accounts. When the Honorable MEC took over the department, Honorable members, we were sitting at just over 900 million. It means, in accounting principles, we are not a going concern. When this government took a decision many years back of establishing an overdraft facility of 373 million, it was the correct decision. It was based on science and it had all the goodness that came with it. And I thank those that took that decision. But as officials like myself came in the system, we abused that. What we've done is that system or that overdraft or revolving credit facility should be for a period of 30 days. We allowed it now to be over a period of 5-6 years, let alone 120 days plus. What we've done is that we've now realized that we so deep that in order to come out, if we had to go into this new financial year, we have to stop all infrastructure projects with the greatest respect and focus on those that were started and finish it off. It's something that the Honorable MEC is having sleepless nights together with myself. And I asked him just now when we went outside, can I meet with him? Because I don't want him to have a heart attack and myself, because we don't know what to do. It's like eating soup with a fork. We don't know where to start. But I'm saying to yourself, Honorable Chair, as I conclude, please walk with us. It's a very tough terrain. But understand that you have people who are sober-minded, people who are highly skilled, highly educated, and you have an MEC who's passionate and someone who I've never worked with an EA like that, who's on point and on par. We present there to yourself, Chair, the vote 14 for 25-26. We're here to answer any questions, and we will answer it with honesty and integrity. I therefore submit same for your consideration. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Acting Asho D. For this presentation. Honourable members, there are some bodies left in the honourable members, then there is presentation and that we have received. Any questions, clarities, honourable members? Can I see the hands? Honourable Mapisa and Honourable Kole and Honourable Mloyi. Yeah, in that order. Mapisa.
Thank you again, Honorable Chair. It's a clarity on my part. I think it's on program 1, cost drivers. The bursary employees part, the bursaries employees part, and the external, especially on the internal part, that there are no institutions or bodies like NSG that can assist so that you'll make savings and redirect the funds to service delivery projects. And then on the external part, I know that it may sound controversial being said by a young person who's on the other cap, leads young people on external. But I think that we must also consider that there are institutions or bodies like, what do you call this? NSFAS, yes. And other institutions who assist with bursaries. You know, a simple principle that I apply on my household is that I cannot drive a Mercedes-Benz while I'm in a position of driving a Toyota Corolla. So our priorities must be correct. The last one is training and development again. On the local government sphere, there's body like LG SETA and others. If on a provincial government or nationally, you can also explore those avenues. And the second part is that I think, Honorable Chair, I like smart employees. When I was working in local government, Mr. Dlamini knows, I will always have problem with an employee who must present something and then him or he does not understand what he says. us as politicians will get more confused. I must say that your presentation was so super. You have covered the part of municipal debt and the approach. You say, I like smart accounting officers who dribbles other people. You see that part of we either engage on a long-term plan to pay you or you give us a 50% discount. I think that's super. MEC and the acting HOD, on the part of releasing your assets or sites, you see, I think on that one you must be transparent because I reside from Vryheid. You know, when you just hear from someone say, hey, my colleague has bought the public works house with a reasonable price because he was well connected with politicians. I think you must be transparent and try to save the image of the department, especially on that part. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just more of a comment and just an appreciation, I think, for the department, for the MEC and the department. I think this presentation is certainly really clarified the situation of the department, but I think we would be remiss in not actually also acknowledging that there has been some movement in a positive direction. So I think from where we first received the budget last year to now, I think we are finding ourselves in a different position. It's still not, we've still got a long way to go, but I think we do need to acknowledge that. I had some other comments which have been covered, so I won't waste anybody's time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Slalo. Slalo, noma ngingasho lutho uhlala uthi ngiyahluka. But my apology if I sound like a naughty girl, but I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I think, Slalo, let's greet to the chairperson, the MEC, the honorable members, the team led by acting HOD of the department, and also our support team from the legislature. Honorable Chair, one wish to welcome the presentation. I was part of the finance meeting up until the end. I did not want to go and talk about things that I should have come here and talk about. I think there is a part that the acting HOD talk about, but I didn't hear him clearly clarifying what then that mean as they are presenting before this committee, the issue of shortfall. It may be called shortfall, it may be called deficit, but it's a money that is not there that is supposed to be assisting in doing the work of the department. I would want to get a clarity on that one. I think also on the issue of maintenance of building, I think we must be saying here, really, Department of Public Works is not doing what is expected. As I'm taking as an ordinary person out there, looking at the building of the government, really it's an embarrassment. We must find the turnaround strategy. I have not seen it in the turnaround strategy. What is it that you are going to do? Because really, you sit also on the dilapidated buildings, but you work in every day. You go there. Take the Natal. Every day the lift is not working. Take KwaZulu building where Kokta is housed. Every day that lift that I don't know whether it's in a city lift subzol. Sisho lokho kusikhuphula kusehlisa khona lokho ke e-cash is not working in number of buildings of the government. And really, it's not good. Go to Truro House, same thing. That is not the standard that we expect. At least at the minimum, have your building painted, clean. You have EPWP program. You can utilize them to clean the government building. If you can't have a much budget to do that, for a period of a year, you focus on that. I think we are not doing us not that you are not doing good, but on that side, I really feel that I walk with my head down to say, but I can't associate with this. You go clean them, my apology if I'm putting a harsh weight on that one. I think we must talk about that to say that you don't have money to maintain. My understanding with the building is that if you build a building for like take for instance education, you hand over that to them. What does that mean? Does that mean the maintenance funds should come to you, or should they maintain themselves so that we differentiate? There are offices that I'm talking about, it's your responsibility. But on the other side, there are departments that you build infrastructure for them and hand over to them. What does that mean? Does it mean that they'll have to bring the money to you to maintain those buildings, or they have to incur those financial implication on maintenance? Yes, I'm happy that you are going to deal with the issue of. It's the same as Ulundi. Yes, Ulundi, we have said that it's not going to be the house of the legislature, but it doesn't mean that it takes out the responsibility of maintaining and putting it in the state that is acceptable. You are not only putting us, but the workers there. What kind of an environment that you'd want you to find yourself in when you have to do your work? So ke uma ngithi ngesizulu Thabzolo sihlalo wami, umuntu akakayibuke ngayo ukuthi uma bekuthiwa yimi lo bengingathanda ukusebenza ku-environment enjalo. Then you'll be able to ningathathi konke nithathe ngakunye because into ebanga ukuthi singakwazi ukwenza izinto, we put a lot and we are not taking one at a time. We want to build a number of things and do a number of things, but only to find that that is not making a difference, still the same. So le you clean again, no rehabilitate those buildings we upload. I'm worried about the legislature president. Seemingly we still fiddling with it. I'm worried because the lead department should be a public works, and public works seems to be doing minimal in that. I would love that you bring us what is your strategy and what is your plan on this one, and how do you intend to ensure that you push? I know, don't talk about the money. Yes, the money part, we'll talk about it. But what is your strategy? What is your plan? So that the plan will then be followed by finance. Because you may find that there are other options that you may use in ensuring, because really we are squashed here. And the department are paying exorbitant amounts in rental or in leases in those buildings, which are privately owned. That brings me to the item that you put on the turnaround strategy of saying that you want to utilize or you want to dispose the unused or unutilized building. I think the first thing first, you must clean those buildings first, that they can be utilized, so that you bring the value for that. But on top of that, my view will be, rather than having that being sold or what to call them, whatever, then the good name, rather have some of these departments occupying those. Make them commit that they are going to rehabilitate or refurbish those buildings, and then they take over, utilizing their money that they have. Or you clean them and then so that you save. You would be surprised how much you'll be saving on these leases when those buildings are utilized by the department. Very few and less amount will then be needed on that. You have a good plan, I must say, and it's clear on what it is you are intending to do. Just that I'm just asking these questions so that I'm pushing you to somewhere that you don't want to go to, and I want you to maximize your capability and your and the work that you can do in return. On the security, I think there is a serious allegation there. I was listening when you say that people, they increase securities to hundreds, because of the friends companies, really it's a serious allegation. And I don't think there's this committee we can just brush it away, because it means something is not right there. You are telling us something, but not wanting to tell us. What is it that is happening there? Tell us, what is it? Because you can't say you increase the number because you want to empower or you want to give your companies, your friends' company. You go beyond that and tell us so that we know what you're talking about. Because MEC is bringing the numbers up so that his company's friend benefits. Because I'm concerned about the politician, I can see you, but the guy that is there, which is the political head, is the one that I'm concerned about. How come that he just bring his friend there to benefit and increase the number of security while he's saying to us he doesn't have money. When I was in the finance committee, I heard that there is a feeling of saying that is it still viable or is still important or is still good to have EPWPs. There's a statement of more or less borders around that of saying that is it still. It was phrased there in the finance, but I didn't hear it here. But in the finance committee, it was phrased as if there is a thinking of doing away with the EPWPs. Is that true, or what is it? Have I got it correctly, or I miss what they were saying in the meeting? Because that's what it comes out. On your turnaround strategy, I think we must applaud you for the work. Safe to adjust that one, that resolution that relates to the buildings, to ensure that. I'm hearing also on the turnaround saying that before the turnaround, there are costs which are audit and communication. You want them to go you are recommending that the department must pay for that. If I read it correctly from the slide, that was before the turnaround strategy. If I read it correctly, if I haven't, then pardon me. It talks about that let's reprioritize and be undertaken by department, your department or departments that must deal with that. I wanted to get a clarity on that so that I'm learned. You said you must stop all the infrastructure. What does that mean? When you say you stop all the infrastructure and continue with the one, if departments they bring in new project that they would want to because they can afford to have them, are you saying that you are not going to deal with those ones? Whilst we are pushing that you should be the implementer of choice, but if you are saying that no, now we are not taking anybody in, then how you become the implementer of choice when you say that? I'm just putting those on the rates. I think I concur with the Honourable Mapisa, but please, let's not kill the municipalities. That's the only revenue base they have. If you say you would want to pay 50%, I won't go with that. Rather pay 80%. I will then. I'm just looking in both sides, so that when we say that we want to negotiate with the municipalities, they would want them to have money and show that they have this budget, so that they will budget based on what they have been promised or is going to come in their coffers. But if you are saying that we are going to negotiate to be 50%, it means really you are yes, you have a big amount if you look at the amount, but looking at the work that the municipalities are supposed to do, if you take them away 50%, I mean, I wouldn't support the 50% part. But to negotiate with them when they ask you to pay upfront, I don't have a problem with that. I can support it. But the percentage, really, you are ripping them off now. Chairperson, ngiyabonga kakhulu isikhathi songipheso.
Yes, Honorable Nzama.
Thank you, Chair. No, okwama kukuningi kuncane nje. I-concern yami is about property. So, HOD, you talk about 98 properties that will be a long lease. Two, those property, some of them are occupied by illegal people. The process to take those people out, the court order, eviction, sheriff, that is a lot of money. Three, as for me, I disagree for selling of property. I can see there's 27 vacant land. Why don't you go and build offices for public works, other properties like building? Why don't you utilize, talk with education, utilize for accommodation, student accommodation, instead of selling? Some of that will be destroyed. I think 3 properties, if I'm not mistaken, demolish. I don't know. I'm not sure. That will be demolished. So why don't you build something to help the community and to help public works? Because some of the building, yes, are in town, in township, like Umlazi, Visection. There's lots of houses, even in Hemsdale, all over. So now those people, we know that they're illegal. Why don't you, or maybe you're gonna take them out, or you're gonna give them lease, those people? For me, what I can say, I think that can be a good idea, can be a benefit of the a community of KwaZulu-Natal if you give those people a lease. Although they went inside, illegal, occupied, but give them lease. And then for those people, you can evict them like foreigners. Those people are not belong to South Africa. Because we had lots of flood in KZN. Other people are still sitting in the hall because of flood happening in KZN. So those houses you can utilize for the community to use those houses. I'm sure they can be able to pay those rent or whatever that lease you give them. But I don't believe on selling the property. When you come to EPWP, job creation, I believe there's 390 job opportunity will be open for 2025 to 2026. Bear in mind one thing, that is nothing in KZN. We know we got shortfall of 600 million, okay? But that is not a benefit of KwaZulu-Natal. People are not working, youth is not working. The 3,890, remember, EPWP, people, they lost 10,000 jobs. The 390, that is too little. At least maybe if you talk like 7,000, that will be okay. I thank you.
Thank you very much. You may respond, Ms. HOD.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, and thank you for those comments and questions. That's what we are here for. Let me start on the matter of the disposals, because that sort of was across different boards. And let me be very clear what our process was from the start. We said our first option when we look at our buildings that's not being used is, can we put a government department in those buildings? That's one of the very first thing we did. We've already done that. The second thing then is, can we in another way use it for the benefit of people? So offer it to NPOs, NGOs in communities. We've done that. Only when those 2 steps have been gone through do we put up for disposal. So we had a lot more properties initially. This is what it's now down to. And even still, last week we had meetings with municipalities that asked us, instead of selling it, could you give it to us? Which we do. I'll give you a very good example. Newcastle wants to develop a investment office, but they didn't have money to go and buy or rent an office. So we said to them, hang on, we have an office building that we were about to sell. Go look at it, see if it's appropriate. They said, yes, they want it. We're in the process. We're going to hand that over to Newcastle. So that's what we do first. We don't sell as our first option. Selling is actually our last option that we look at. But it's also important to remember that we can only do what our clients tell us to do. I can't build a building for education without education telling me they want us to build a building and paying us for it. So I would love to just build offices for the education department and others, because education department's lease bill is a huge headache for us. But if education doesn't instruct us to do so, I have no mandate to do so, unfortunately. So I just work within the mandate that's given to us. Same with student housing. We are negotiating with private companies to say, come and partner with us with the buildings we own in eThekwini, for instance, and we'll give you a lease, you develop student housing there together with NSFAS. But we can't just build student housing as a Department of Public Works because it's not within our mandate. So I agree with what you're saying. It's just we have to work within the confines of the law and the regulations that bind the Department of Public Works. And the same, Honourable Sithole Moloi, regarding maintenance. Maintenance remains the financial responsibility of the client department, not of Public Works and Infrastructure. So Natalia Building falls under the Health Department, Treasury, sorry. Natalia Building falls under Treasury. Treasury must give us the money to do the maintenance. So we do the maintenance, but they must pay us for it. But obviously not what they would pay a private company to do. We just ask them to pay for the materials and those type of things. So the maintenance situation, and I agree with you 100%. There's nothing that saddens me as driving through and looked at government buildings are ugly and dilapidated and people don't have pride in them. And of course, people don't have pride. And we want people in a community to look at a building and say, we are proud of this building because it's our building. So part of that, Honourable Sithole Moloi, is that we are busy talking to various groups, NGOs, schools, to come and see how can we make our buildings look better through art, through bringing in people, make competitions and all of that. So we're going to try our best as well to assist and make buildings that the people will be proud of. And hopefully we're going to actually start in Umlazi, if I'm not mistaken. I had some chats with some NGOs the other day, bring in school kids, provide them materials, give artists to train them, and we're going to start making our buildings look better. Because I agree with you, they are not something for us as a government and for the people to be proud of. And we would ask the committee to also come with suggestions on how we can do that. And regarding on disposals, I forgot the very important matter of transparency. If there is something that I raise in every meeting, it's transparency. And this department is moving very fast to being 100% transparent. So every building that we look at, sell, will be available. It will be on our webpage. We will give that list to this committee. Every step of the way, we will update on it, and we'll make sure as many people in the province knows about this as possible. We are also talking to commercial banks. And that's why the crisis of Itala keeps me awake, because we were hoping Itala would assist us in making sure that people from disadvantaged communities get access to funding to buy these properties from us. But we will make sure from our side that it's as transparent as anything. And I invite the members that once the process is at that stage, go to our webpage, look at that, and or you can phone us at any time, ask us for a list of properties, and we will provide it to you as well. Regarding the legislative precinct, Honourable Sithole Moloi, I actually agree with you 100%. That's why I took it to Cabinet. I asked the Cabinet to make a decision on the way forward, to make sure that the 7th administration gives it the same commitment that the 6th and previous administrations have. We have presented a report to Cabinet. Cabinet asked us time to go through that report. So at the next Cabinet meeting, Cabinet will give us guidance, and from there we will then come and report back to this committee on where we are with the legislative precinct. I'm a big supporter of the legislative precinct. It will save us a lot of money in the long term, and we are committed still to it, but we needed Cabinet's decision because we are now in the period of unity governments, not one-party governments anymore, and that's why we wanted to take it to Cabinet to make a decision on. EPWP, let me also just point out that the numbers you see here is just what we as a department employ. So that is not for the whole province, for all departments and municipalities, because that's a much, much larger number, and that's done through the grants that we receive. And Mr. Dlamini is there. He's the expert on it, not me. So that is what we employ. And again, it's a grant from national government. So we can only spend what national government gives us to spend. So we have no say there really, but we are trying to make EPWP a much more efficient and effective. And we as a department, Honourable Sithole Moloi, remains committed to the EPWP program, but it needs to be better. And what we're doing is now we are talking to TVET colleges, to CETAs, to the Department of Agriculture, to see how can we make sure that when people leave the program, they have a skill and a certificate to say we have this skill, so they can get a better paying job in the private sector. And that's something that I am quite passionate about, to be honest about it. Let me just end off with one thing that I didn't do in the beginning, Honourable Chairperson, before I hand over to the HOD to answer the other questions. I've got to do this, but I think it's very important. I would like to use this opportunity. We have amongst us Mr. Sithole, who's our head of HR, sitting over there. And Chairperson, he's been with the department for how many years, Mr. Sithole? 39 years today. And this is his last month with the department. He is retiring at the end of this month. This is a man who has given his life to this government and to this department, and I would like this committee to recognize that as well. He's been my right-hand man in HR matters, and I think I gave him many headaches in his time in the department, but he shows the dedicated of the true public servant. And from my side, I just wanted to express this to this committee, my great thanks, and the example he set to everybody else in this department. Sorry for interrupting like that. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, and thank you, Honourable Members. I'll start off with Honourable Mapisa's submissions. And firstly, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, you're on point in respect to, we've had that discussion and we've said to each another that the monies that were set aside for bursaries, bearing in mind what you also covered quite correctly, and Honourable Moloi covered it as well, that we don't want to also do a disfavor to those who are currently on the program, like first year or second year of varsity, and then stop it. So what we've done is we've given ourselves the next 2 to 3 weeks to determine whether we proceed with it internally, and whilst we're doing that, we approach the CETAs, we approach NAFSAS and all the other funders and say, listen, partner with us. But we cannot deviate. We cannot disagree with you. I think you've covered it quite correct, and we're trying to do that. The difficult part we had is that we found this in the department. But then we said, listen, you can't continue. Then you need to find an alternative service delivery option, and we took the option of approaching NAFSA. So we agree with you. The issue around transparency, I think the MEC covered it. I always joke with the MEC, that's his middle name, because he's very particular about transparency and he won't get involved in any administrative process. That's how he is, which makes my work much more easier. The next honourable member, I think, points, we thank you. We're definitely moving in the right direction. We would agree with you, but there's lots more to be done. Honourable Moloi asked a very valid question, and thank you, Honourable Moloi. You've directed myself in terms of I should have commended you here as well. I did it at the finance portfolio of how to link an APP with the MDTB and the PGS. I remember our first meeting, we were at a tangent with each other until we met in the corridor and you explained to me, this is what I'm looking for, vision. Thank you for that. But let me say, Honourable Moloi, you said that if one stops infrastructure, then how you become the implementer of choice. Yesterday's EXCO meeting covered exactly that, to say, and the EXCO members that are sitting before me to say, but accounting officer, if you stop what? I must qualify what I've said, because I could have been wishy-washy. I'm saying, let's talk about like education. If their allocation for next year is 494 million and they owing us 653, even if they pay us that, we're 150 million off the target on their projects, meaning that we will, as we start from today, as we go along, you will have exponential growth. You will get back to that 500 million and things. So it's continuously revolving. It's a discussion, what I'm saying, that still has to be taken at an executive level. That's my ancestors coming in to say, hey, this is a very contentious subject. So you say, yeah. So what I'm saying, Honourable Moloi, it's not a decision that we can just say stop. I'm saying if we apply science and don't bring the side of policy direction and you guys applying your mind as the executive authorities and as portfolio committees, it will be stopped. But if we continue, the Honorable MEC said, what are we going to do with those contractors that as we speak, we owing them close to $500 million? What's the problem, Honorable Malloy and Honorable Chairperson, is that there's no confirmation as well how you're going to pay public works. We're saying, okay, if you owe us $500 million, give us a payment plan over a medium-term expenditure framework and let's meet each another. But what we're doing, Honorable Malloy, which I want to talk to MEC post this meeting, is that we are getting contractors to go out and do the work, and then we're closing down businesses. And we're causing a havoc whereby contractors have said to us, and I say it with the greatest respect, the next thing for them to do, the women contractors, they said to us, is to come and take out all their clothes in front of public works to get attention of the MEC and myself, because they don't know what else to do, because we tell them that we can't pay them. They want to come to public works, strip completely all their clothes and would stand with placards, which they've done with placards, but they're not, because they say that government doesn't take them serious. I'm just saying the women contractors, how they're hurting. I've said to the MEC last week, Honorable Malloy, he will tell you, I said, MEC, I want to run away because my phone calls are over 100 phone calls of people we're owing money. And the story I'm telling people is that I'll pay you. But now April has come and the story you have to pay because you got your new budget. So Honorable Malloy, what I was saying to the team yesterday, and I'm saying it to you, Honorable Chair as well, and Honorable members, is that if you continue, you're never going to get a situation whereby you're going to clear your debt, you're going to increase your debt exponentially. I would not be doing justice to this House, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, if I didn't bring that, Honorable Malloy. But you were on point in saying that you can't stop infrastructure, because you are right. So I said to Honorable MEC, balance it, how are we going to do it? Do we stagger it or what? But you've answered it right to say, Mr. Vish, maybe fix up your old projects, but don't stop new projects. But then get commitments. But health don't give us hassles and other departments. So it's few departments that don't pay. The issue around the shortfall, and we debated that at the finance portfolio. And thank you for that, Honorable Malloy and Honorable Chairperson and members. So at the moment, if you spend what you have, there's no deficit. But I need to take you into confidence to say that lurking somewhere there is the issue around public works property rates, which is 700 million. But it's been a legacy issue. But if I don't say it to you all, and municipal managers and municipalities contact you all as our political leaders, you're going to come back to me and say, Dr. Vish, you lied to us. You should have told us there's a little thing lurking there whereby we don't have that money. So if we spend rand for rand, Honorable Malloy, and we continue, which I will make sure, and it's one of the targets, you'll see the 2% variation, we won't have a shortfall. But rightfully so, you'll have an accrual because you wouldn't have paid. And so you covered it quite correct. The issue around 50%, because you've been the former MEC of Kokta and you know what happens. You like myself, we come from municipalities. The problem you have is that I'm starting off at 50, right? Because I also want to show them that, listen, our bargaining power is with us now. If you want to come to the table, you must come with something as well, and we negotiate, Honorable Chair. It's a strategy, but I know very well it's not something that we're going to be sticking at 50. I said 50 and below. But why I started off 50 is to be cheeky with them. So when they come to the table, they can't come with 1%. You must come with 20, 25, 30. I'm saying it in confidence here. That's my game strategy of what I'm going to implement. And it has to have a strategy. And Honorable Mapisa said it's a brilliant thinking strategy. But obviously, it will cause chaos if you go at 50%. But there's municipalities that like eThekwini that can give you that and feel nothing because they rates based 500, 600 million. If they give you that, they're still able to deliver services. So it's a strategy that we're trying to employ, but we're chartering territory that was never walked before. The issue around the legislature and all the other buildings, Honorable Malloy, you are on point. The problem is, and I'm hoping you committee members together with yourself sit on other committees. Public Works can only do what a department will provide in terms of their budget. Honorable Malloy and Honorable Chair, it's scary. That's why I said that if you had to do this thing right, your conditional assessment should match your budget. If that had to take place in the province of KZN, 2 billion will be only for maintenance. That's where it should be. It's not there. Why it's not there? It's years of not having good financial prudence when it comes to maintenance of assets. The norm, Honorable Malloy and Honorable members, is 10% of your operational budget. 10% of 2.32 billion is 232 million. That's where you should be on maintenance. You're not there. You're 27 million. But I'm saying to you all in with the greatest respect, I have to take this house into confidence to say we're not where we are, but we're definitely on the right path to where we need to be. And I know you said don't venture into the money part because you're clever. You're tying me my hands and you're saying box. I'm in a box. But the fact of the matter is, without money, I can't maintain because I got to buy things. It's a basic thing. But you then said trick it a further knot, which I accept the challenge. We want alternative ideas, Dr. Vish. The idea to get to it, which the Honorable MEC has piloted very much so, is to look into the private sector and see how best we can form triple P options. That is what we're doing at EGB. It's 900 million to repair that building. Public Works don't have it. Get a private company and pay them over 25 years and work a deal where government is able to deliver services, but intelligently so. So therefore, I've accepted it. But rightfully so, you also need to put in funding as well. It needs to be a balanced effect. And as we sit in the province, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, we must be mindful of the fact that we sit at 9.8 billion deficit. I said it at the finance portfolio as well. And we can't hide from that. But I do accept the submissions and I agree with it. In terms of disposal versus utilizing inside, the Act is very clear. The KwaZulu-Natal Land Administration and Immovable Asset Management Act, Section 2 and Section 5 says it very clear. The MEC missed one component, the third component of municipalities and government departments. You cannot go out without fulfilling that requirement. In order for Treasury to approve it, even though it sits solely with the Honorable MEC, you got to fulfill all those requirements. The problem we have, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, is that the Honorable MEC covered it. You need to, as Public Works, give us the money. If we were not Public Works and doing this thing, I don't want to use education, and I don't want him to say we came here and mudsling them. They need to provide the money. Public Works will implement. I can build 50,000 offices tomorrow if you provide the budget, and the budget is not forthcoming. The next step is then, do you allow that asset to go along? And Honorable Zamo covered it quite correct to say that. Her opinion, and which is it's on point, is that you should first utilize the assets internally for the benefit of government and reduce your rates bill instead of going out. And Honorable Morai said the same thing. But also we sitting with a situation where after doing all these exercises, we see that, listen, the 27 long-term leases is not outright purchase selling. It's 27 properties that are of high value properties that can be given to the part of the economy that is disadvantaged so they can better and participate in the economy. The issue around the 3 buildings of outright purchases, those buildings have, we've offered it to everyone, they don't have. The 98 properties is vacant sites. The issue around illegally occupied state houses, it's giving myself and MEC a headache. It's been a legacy issue for 2.5 decades in the province of KZN, and we've never tackled it. We now open that pot. When we opened it, we closed it quickly because it's terrible, it's got serious issues. But you are so true in saying what the MEC said, that it would be wrong to just evict people out. Because what are you doing then? You're causing a crisis. That's the challenges and the hurdles we face with. And we have to now sit as a political leader, me as a ministry leader, is how we navigate that terrain. The point on the security company, Honorable Moy, let me qualify it further as well. I didn't want to venture into it, but you took me there and I need to qualify it. I'm saying these are some of the assertions we pick, because if you look at the documentation, it's on point. But really, if you had to ask yourself, Dr. Vish, if you went from 50 guards to 100 guards, what are you doing? But if you look at the document, you can do nothing to no one because every box was ticked. But I'm saying the MEC said to me, be mindful, Dr. Vish, that you don't have the money with your team. You can't continue on that trajectory. You need to think out of your box. If you needed 100 security guards at a cost of 22 million or 39 million, you know now that if you take all your security budget and put it there, you're not going to guard other facilities that you are currently thinking. So I needed to qualify that, and I apologize if it came out the wrong way. Because when you're speaking, you don't listen to yourself sometimes unless someone brings that up to your attention, and I'm qualifying it. But Honorable Members and Honorable Chair, the EPWP program, I heard what Honorable Malloy said, and I think you just exited that point when Mr. Dlamini took the finance portfolio through. It's a legislative program. It's a program that's peremptory, that comes from national, that we have to comply with. It would need policy discussion and policy direction. It's people like yourselves who determine that. All we're doing is that we're implementing same. But what the Honorable MEC covered quite correct, the 3,800 or 3,000, just get the right figure, 3,000 somewhat jobs that we're creating is solely Honorable Nzamo for Public Works. I think throughout it's 300 and just give the figure, the Chief Director. 153,000 totally. So to just allay your fears that it's not just public works is only catering in public works. Each of the client departments and the municipalities have their own budget. We coordinate it on behalf of the province. It's a lovely program, Honorable Malloy and Honorable Chair, if it's properly implemented. The problem is, I didn't say it, which I should have said it, and I won't say it. It has interference. But if you're running it with an EA who doesn't interfere with it, you can deliver. So those are some of the things that I'm not saying other EAs interfere. I'm saying if you run it with transparency, you won't have that issue. I think that brings me to the conclusion. Unless I missed out anything, honourable members, the LA building I covered, the legislator as well. The honourable MEC sent me an email 2 days ago, a day ago. I know Honourable Malloy, Chair, and honourable members said we're doing minimal. The problem is, Public Works must deliver a Mercedes, and you're giving me a Toyota budget, and it's almost impossible. So that's what the problem we have here. But Honourable MEC has committed to the Honourable Speaker to say we got to meet each another and we got to find a way. Thank you.
No, really, can I give you 1 minute? Really, we are running out of time now. Oronzama, a second.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable MEC, I remember when I asked you about properties, you say, are you doing the audit? So now I want to find out these properties. There's properties for national and for province. So now you're putting all together, or some of them is for national. Still the problem, or you're still sorting the cases. And what is happening? If you can tell me.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. So it's important to remember that these are two, we have spheres of government and two totally different departments. So I have absolutely no mandate over National's properties. National has zero mandate over our properties. We are a separate sphere of government. So when we're doing our audit, it is purely just on that belongs to the provincial government of KwaZulu-Natal. The national government, they must unfortunately look after their own buildings, but we are in regular communication with them. And where we identify that one of their buildings is a problem, we communicate that. And I happen to have the minister's phone number because we happen to maybe be from the same political party. So I do engage with him. And last week I attended the MINMEC, the Ministerial MEC's meeting in Polokwane. I don't know why it was in Polokwane, but anyway, I was there. And I missed KZN every moment I was there. But that's where we raised it, and all the other MECs also raised it. And just to also add that EPWP was a big discussion at that MINMEC, and we gave our commitment to it again. Thank you, Chairperson.
No, thanks very much, honourable members, and thank you very much also for your answers, and we appreciate. Lastly, now before we go to voting, I also like to thank you, Jobe, for serving KwaZulu-Natal for so long, 39 years. In fact, you have seen it all. You started in the while KwaZulu government until now. If I had my way, I'll give you another 5 years to serve. But no, really, we were proud of you, a civil servant who's been to government so long. Because I think the young ones, they are looking up to you, because if you didn't do well, will not have made it up to this far. Thank you very much, Jobe. Lastly, I also would like to thank you, the department, MEC, HOD, because we were the team. And we appreciate the transparency that we have already spoke about, because that is what we need. If there are things that are not going well, you must tell us. If there are things so that we must able to assist where we can assist. We are not enemies. We are not caught, but we are here because we are making policies. If there are things that need us as a committee, where we can intervene, as we will look at that with the committee, the issue of meeting with other portfolio committees and so forth. That is what we need, so that we can how can we assist. But we must say that we know that when we started this 7th administration, there were a lot of money that we were owing to contractors and so forth. A lot of money, which killed special those emerging small companies. But the turnaround that you did just to at least be able to pay. We must continue with that spirit. And thank you very much for that. All members, let us go to item number 5 for voting for this APP budget. And we'll vote as advice. I think we must give us an advice how we're going to this, and Ms. Nsele.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and members. As we are going to advance on this procedure of voting, Honorable Chairperson will vote per member, and will check whether, in terms of as the budget and the APP has been tabled, whether members individually they are in support, or they reject, or they abstain. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. So we'll follow that procedure. Can I start with the members who are in the virtually? How many members do we have there?
Honorable Chairperson, there is one member which is there because Honorable
Okay.
is finally present now. Thank you.
Right, Asif, we are voting now. I'm giving you an opportunity. Do you accept or abstain, or you reject this? Can you check out the agenda?
I support.
Just hold on. I want to see. Can you check that agenda? I want to see the member there. Hello. Okay.
Thanks, Chairperson. Honourable Proud to say, Chair, I'm in support of the budget.
Thanks very much, Honourable Member. Now both. We vote member per member. Honourable Pisa.
Thank you, Chair. We are in support of the budget and the APP.
Honourable Cool.
Thank you, Chair. Supporting the budget and the APP.
Thank you, Honourable Nzama.
Thank you, Chair. Maye Babo, angisupporti mina the budget.
Okay, Honourable Mkhize.
Sawona Sihlalo. Umkhondwa awungeni.
It's fine. Honourable Gaza.
Sawubona Sihlalo. Njengoba sebechazile nje kumkhondayo asihlangane.
Kuze kuhlangane. Honourable Khumalo ban.
Yangikhohlwa Sihlalo.
Greetings, Chair. Not in support. Thank you.
Okay. Honourable Mahlaba.
Greetings, Chair. Mahlaba, African National Congress.
Kuyahlangana.
Mahlaba supports African National Congress. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable Mloyi.
Sibala ngakho Sihlalo ukuthi sithi we support the budget and the APP as presented by department as African National Congress. Umbutho wesizwe, umbutho wabantu. Siyabonga.
I also need to vote. No. Order, members. I also support the APP and budget. Thanks very much. And then, can you, Mr. Nsele, give us?
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson and Honourable members. As we correctly recorded that there are 10 members, 9 they voted in support. 4. Sorry about that mistake. There are 10 members.
Can you start afresh? Yes.
Yes, there are 10 members present for this. 4 rejected. which are 4, then the 6 are voted in support of the APP and the budget. Honorable Chairperson. Thank you.
No, thanks very much. So the budget, the APP and budget has been supported. Thanks very much. Well done, colleagues. Yes, Mloyi.
Thank you, Chair. Bengifisa nje ukuthi ngibuza ukuthi are we not supposed to get why the MK is not supporting the budget?
No,
Engibuza nje as a procedure.
I don't think so. All members, I taking this opportunity to thank you, the order Gaza. All members, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the department for coming, and then I'll release them so that the members may just remain for another 10 minutes. They are in committee that we need to discuss. Thank you very much, Honorable the department.
Sengishe ngaba notice lalo.
Mapisa.
Honorable members, colleagues, we got this item number 9 for adopting this protocol. The reports, I think members have received this prior, and in fact we're supposed to adopt these reports in the previous meeting, but because of it was not I don't know what was the reason. It came late, so we're adopting now. I think members have gone through these reports. We start with adoption of the previous minutes and committee reports. 9.1 report planning empowerment session 1 and 2. I want members to adopt those, and then Honorable Kohli, 9.1. Honorable Kohli, Honorable Zama.
Yes, second.
No, you are proposing for adoption.
Oh, I propose. But I propose it.
No.
My neighbor, can propose my neighbor.
No. It means you are proposing for adoptions. Okay, Honorable Mkhize.
Iyahlangana.
Thanks very much. Jenny, Colin.
Thank you, Chair. I will move for adoption.
And Colin move for adoption. Any seconder?
Yes, second.
Thank you, Honorable Mloyi. Honorable Colin.
I'll move for adoption.
Thank you. Any seconder? Stakeholders engagement which we did in where is it? What Duguza? What Duguza?
Yes, second.
Thank you, Mr. Nzama. Minute of previous meeting on the 25th February. It's 11th of February 2025. It's our last meeting.
I'll move for adoption.
Thank you. Any seconder?
Seconded.
Thank you. Thank you very much, honourable members. All the reports that were left unadopted we have adopted now. I like to take this opportunity, all members, to thank you for attending this meeting. It was a very important one. Honourable Mahlaba, I see your hand.
Thanks, Chair. Last meeting, we requested some report from the department. I see we got the reports, but if you look at the human resource one, it's not what we requested. What we requested, because they were talking about people who are on suspension and then those who are acting. Then our question was, those who are acting, do they meet the requirements? And we've not received that. In fact, we've just received the same thing that they presented as to who is acting, that these are ongoing cases. These are SMS members, and these are vacant posts that needs to be filled. If you remember, now on the report, they are also presenting that amongst the posts that needs to be filled is that of a CFO, chief direct. But in that meeting, there was no report about CFO being dismissed or resigned, or having resigned. It was only on the matter of the chief director, which was concluded. So the report is not what we requested. We kindly request that they furnish us with a proper report on what we requested. And Chair, if this thing can also come back to us urgently, because it was in February, it's now April. And our main concern was that if you continuously have acting people, but maybe those same people who are acting have the same challenges that we had before, they don't meet the requirements, going to cause problems. Thank you.
No, thanks very much, Honourable Mahlaba. That is why we never discuss that report that we have given us today, because it was only for this APP and budget. That is why we noted this report. But I think you must follow up so that you must know they must know exactly what the report was, so that when we're coming back, we must have, because we'll discuss these reports once we had a meeting with them. But thank you for pointing that out for our next meeting. Then, honourable members, I was thanking you for attending this meeting, and it is. I think it is our interest, the interest of this committee, to see this department prioritize service delivery to our people, because irrespective of that which party we are representing, but this is our core, that we need to play the oversight and for the interest of our people outside there. We may differ, we may come from different parties, but when it comes to the issue of service delivery, I think as members, we need to work together for the sake of our people who are the one that we are representing, who are the one that they've bring us here. With those words, honourable members, I declare this meeting closed, and thank you very much. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.